Hello and welcome to the best production design VFX rundown.
The production design nominees of 2020 will be
Okay, so for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the production designer was Barbara Lee, who's a very prominent production designer. Because obviously it's set 50 years ago, it's set in 1969 Hollywood. One of the main problems they faced was trying to get back the locations that Hollywood had torn down. So, for instance, they did a lot of work on Hollywood Boulevard, and they had to redesign that. So, Quentin Tarantino actually sat down with the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, and they sit down and talk to them and convince them by selling his movie to them that they should let him redesign the main street on Hollywood. And it worked, and they managed to do that. They got new storefronts, they got neon lights working. So yeah, they really set it back into the 60s.
So I think The Irishman would win the production design award. Like, it had so many different sets, and they all spanned across like the 50 years where the story takes place. They had about 295 different locations and 28 different sets. The set director on this one was Regina Graves, and the production design was Bob Shaw. They've done many notable films and TV shows. Regina Graves having done Gotham, The Smurfs. Yeah, we all know what The Smurfs is like.
The same level as Gotham, is it?
Not really. Not really. Yeah, they've done The Irishman, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and many others. Bob Shaw, he'd done various things like does the production designer for Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street and The Sopranos and Mad Men. Very similar shows like The Sopranos and Wall Street to this film. Once again, worked with Martin Scorsese. Is that they've done many as well. A big thing with this film was with locations. They had a lot of the similar locations, such as a gas station, 5 different ones taking place throughout the story, so that there wasn't a location with 1950s gas pumps, so they had to go to a new location that they could transform to make it into that, and they had to make sure that each one was very different to the last, to make them separate in the film, so you knew it was clear. A big thing that we're using the palette Kodachrome, which is like various oranges and like teal colours. There was just a lot of places they had to make sure was based in real life and accurate. So overall, it was just a film that had a lot of work done in production design, and I think with the work that's put in, it deserves an Oscar for how. For how much detail was. I think it deserves an Oscar for how much detail was put into like just making sets distinguishable from another one and making them really like unique and time period accurate. So that's why I think Irishman should win Best Production Design.
I personally believe that Jojo Rabbit should win because they have the production designer of Ra Vincent, and with this, he used to design the sets for Hobbit and Thor Ragnarok, which was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, same director as well.
Yeah. With only a budget of 14 million, he had not a lot as compared to most movies.
Compared to like Ragnarok, that'd be.
Yeah. Like most Marvel movies are over 100 million.
Oh Christ, yeah.
Because of such a short budget, he decided to scout around the locations around the Czech Republic, like the borders. And he once quoted that these villages were caught in a time capsule. With this, he was able to design a full 7,000 square foot soundstage to his own taking of what he wanted.
Okay, so this year's VFX nominees. So, Avengers Endgame is up for production design and VFX. Now, at the BAFTAs last Sunday, the award for Best Visual Effects got given to 1917. Now, 1917 won about 7 BAFTAs there. I don't think it should have won Best VFX, considering it's up against The Rise of Skywalker and Avengers Endgame. Recently, Martin Scorsese actually slandered Marvel and said that they weren't real films, it wasn't real cinema, and that it was like a big theme park. However, right, in my opinion here, if you sat in on the audience in Endgame, there were many moments, right, where the audience, because it had been 10 years of just Marvel films leading up to this one film, literally was the Endgame in both the title of the film and the film itself. So the raw emotion that you could feel in the cinema from moments throughout the whole film, it just, even though most of it was like, a lot of it was green screen, and some of the costumes were like even green screen, even in Far From Home, which came after Endgame, even in Far From Home there was, there's a shot where it's Samuel L. Jackson sat there and he's got a tranquilizer gun and a wall behind him, right? You'd think that'd be really easy to film. You just need a wall matching the motel wall and a tranquilizer gun. Sorry. Sorry. They used a green screen and a sort of little model with like VFX tape markings on to make this tranquilizer gun. For probably less money, they could have given him an actual tranquilizer gun and made an actual wall behind him. So that's kind of putting out, popping set design people out of work just because they need to green screen it. I mean, it is, I think Scorsese's right saying that everything's too green screen nowadays, but I disagree on the point that it's like a theme park and it's not real cinema, because, like I said, if you capture all the audience reactions and just the thrill of Endgame itself as a film, isn't that what real cinema's about? Being able to just manipulate the audience into thinking that emotionally, delved in it. So yeah.
Keeping on the theme with Disney, I think Lion King should get it. As everything in that whole movie is with VFX, except from the sunrise. That's why they can make it look so realistic with just one little real thing, and that's just the sunrise. And they employed over 800 digital artists to create every character in The Lion King. But because of these extra artists, it was 4 times the price of the original, which was 45 million, and the new one was 200 million. So.
Okay, so I think The Irishman, would win.
Just one Irish guy.
It's the main Irishman
One
film.
Dublin, yeah.
Show me another one. Come on, in the comments. So I think The Irishman will win Best VFX because despite the quality of it being very, very high, and most of the time it's very unnoticeable, but it made a huge revolutionary change in the way films like the VFX were done. Because this was a film Martin Scorsese had been wanting to make for a while, and he decided now that it was the time. But all the actors like Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino were too old, so they wanted to make them look younger. And if someone that Martin Scorsese knew at ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, said we could do it, but he didn't really want the dots in his face like they do in Marvel films, which obviously, as we said before, he recently said we're a bit like a theme park with all the CGI.
Ping pong balls on everyone's
yeah.
phones.
But the guy that he knew at Industrial Light and Magic said, I want to make this film for you, and he thought he could make a big change. So they took the leap and started to make the film, and ILM came up with this camera with 2 additional cameras on the side that read ultraviolet light, and they shone so that the middle camera could see all the shadows and stuff, but you got flat lighting where you could see everything perfectly for the VFX artists to add it in, and it really allowed them to de-age all the characters and do all the film that you wouldn't be able to do without all the dots. Even 2 years ago or something, Endgame had tons of equipment to get all the faces right, while this one maintained the original style of storytelling where you just have the actors in costume looking at each other. And I just think the fact that we're taking these leaps forward in cinema to make it such not unnatural without these barriers for the actors that restrict the performances and make an actor can give a much better performance when it's able to just look at the characters and speak and things. I just think this change is something that's going to affect years to come and really help the industry become better. So that's why I think The Irishman should win Best VFX.
Well, this has been our Oscar rundown. Nathan wants Irishman to win on both ones. Conrad wants Once Upon a Time and Endgame.
Endgame VFX, Once Upon a Time for production design, that's it.
And I wanted Lion King for VFX, and I also wanted Jojo Rabbit for production design. Thank you and good night.
Thank you very much.
Yay.